Everybody, Rich with Prep You down here in the bunker. And as with all videos at Prep You, hello Shiloh, um, our mission is to have you prepared for any kind of emergency, and this video falls right into that. Especially if you live in a greater metropolitan area, of course, the worst being Chicago. There has been so many carjackings in the city of Chicago that they have a special task force for trying to stop those carjackings and figure out what's going on. Now, disclaimer right now, I have never been carjacked. I don't even think I've ever been close. That's because I've always um, been aware of my surroundings, always using my mirrors, always looking around, always leaving space that I can get out and get somewhere. Same thing with the videos that we did about if you happen to be driving down the road and all of a sudden you run into a road that's blocked from a protest. That's a great video to take a look at. It kind of falls into this too, how to escape safely. But let's get into the statistics, and that's what I want to do now. I want to give you statistics. I want you to be able to make your own decision, at least have the information in your brain that you can make solid decisions on how you can prevent yourself and others from getting carjacked. So let's look at carjacking. It can absolutely happen any place. Absolutely. All right. Most happen near or at a victim's home. Okay. So at or near victim's home, 39% of the time. Parking lot or garage, 19% of the time. On the street near your home or your neighbor's home, 8% of the time. On the street not near your home, 22%, and other is 13%. All right, 59% of offenders, those doing the carjacking, had a weapon. And what were those weapons? 38% of the time, it was a firearm. 11% of the time, it was a knife. 10% of the time, it was other. The remaining time, there was no statement in the report that there was any weapon. So weapons used 59% of the time. 1 in 4 carjackings result in a victim injury. 90% of carjacked victims are by themselves in the car. Victims resisted 53% of the time. Victims were injured 26% of the time. Let's see. The car was carjacked by a stranger 64% of the time. Someone known 26% of the time. And it was not known if the person knew them or not 10% of the time. Age of victim. Well, this is interesting. Age of victim, 23% of the time it was somebody 25 to 34. 22% of the time 20 to 24. 13% of the time it was 35 to 49. 9% of the time 50 to 64. 6% of the time it was 16 to 19. 3% of the time was 65. I find it really interesting that these carjackings doesn't really affect people 65 and older, but maybe they just don't like the car they're driving. And 16 to 19 is only 6% of the time. You would think it'd be, a crime of opportunity that they would do that. Victims injured. Let's take a look at victims injured. 32% of victims injured in successful carjackings. 17% of victims injured in unsuccessful carjackings. 9% of injuries were serious. 14 murders a year from vehicle theft, but not all from carjackings. Now, these are the studies from the government and the FBI and stuff like that. And what I find it very interesting is if you would look at this at 32% of victims injured in successful carjackings and only 17% of the victims injured in unsuccessful carjackings, that would kind of tell you that if you resist, you got a less of a chance of being injured in the unsuccessful carjacking. I don't know. That's kind of interesting. This whole video came about when my wife one day told me about a carjacking right here, basically between LaGrange and Hinsdale, Illinois, on Ogden Avenue over 294, which seems like a very strange place, but it was in a construction zone. Uh, People were probably not paying attention. They were probably looking at traffic and construction equipment and all that kind of stuff. I don't have the particulars on it, except for the fact that the person got out of the car, the other person got in the car, went off the road, got um, onto the highway, and gone. So that's why I really came up with this video. So how can you help yourself from not being carjacked? Well, first of all, situational awareness. And we talk about that all the time, about situational awareness. Knowing what's in front, behind, around you, what's above you, sometimes what's below you is very important. The area you're in, the weather, just people. There are a lot of people just milling around. Be aware of what's going on around you. That's the number one thing. Don't get boxed in when you're driving. What do I mean by that? When you're driving, whenever you come to a stop, always make sure that you can see the bottom of the tires of the car or vehicle ahead of you. That gives you plenty of room so you can get out. You can turn one way or you can turn the other way. That also works really well if all of a sudden, the car in front of you dies and you can't get around it. If you're, right up to the bumper because the next car behind you is right up to your bumper, you're stuck there. That gives you a little bit of room to get out in any kind of emergency. It also gives you an escape path if someone wants your car. All right. If possible, always keep a way out, left or right. Best thing to do is drive in the center lane when possible. When you're in heavy traffic, I mean, it's kind of hard to keep an opening on both sides of you. But kind of look at the terrain. Sometimes on the right there are no curbs, and you can just get out and around. And depending on your vehicle, curbs just a bump, that you can get out and go. And if you are stopped and you have the ability to move, and it's a red light, if you feel threatened, very cautiously get in there and, I mean, not get in there, but kind of move out of the way, get around, look around, and get out. All right. Um, that's the best thing to do. Just like in the video we talked about rioters, if all of a sudden you're stuck and they're surrounding your car, the best thing to do is start moving very slow. You don't want to hurt them. Okay, most of them will just get out of the way, let you go by. Obviously, if they aren't letting you go a little bit faster, you need to get out of there. Okay, just like this, in this situation, you need to get out of there as fast as possible. Don't get distracted by your phone when stopped. You're not supposed to be looking at your phone anyhow. Um, Keep aware of what's going on around you. Know what's going on. Use your mirrors. Kind of check it out. A lot of it depends on where you're at, but carjacking is also a crime of opportunity. If somebody needs to get away from someplace fast, they're going to try to take your car. If you look like an easy mark, you're not paying any attention, your doors aren't locked, your windows are open, they're coming after you. They're going to pick you first. You have 3 mirrors, use them. Don't get distracted by events around you. That's another thing. I mean, if you're watching what's going on over here out the window, wow, that's really cool. First thing, you might look like an idiot because the light changed and you didn't move and everybody's honking at you. But the other thing is somebody might be coming up on your right side because you're looking out the left side. And the next thing you know, there's a firearm or a weapon in your face or getting pulled out of a vehicle. If you don't have to travel alone, don't. You saw that the statistic I read, 90% of victims were by themselves. All right, keep doors locked, windows up, radio down low. A lot of times the radio's so loud you can't hear what's going on around you. Maybe somebody else is getting carjacked and they're screaming and yelling and they can't get into that one, so they come to you. So pay attention. Don't park by obstructions. And what I mean by obstructions, I'm meaning dumpsters, large vehicles, the woods, or dark streets. Find some place that has a lot of light, wide open, you can see all the way around you. because people can hide behind that, and you can become a victim very, very easily. If you see someone by your vehicle, don't go to it and don't confront those people. Just hang back. Just see what they're doing. Maybe they're just out there, for a smoke. Maybe they're just out there walking to their car, and maybe they lost their car and they don't know exactly where they're at. So, um, don't go to your vehicle if somebody's hanging around your vehicle. Um, what to keep in your vehicle? If you don't like carrying a firearm, maybe you live in a state that has concealed carry license. You don't have a concealed carry. Maybe you don't like firearm. You can carry a flashlight that has a strobe mode on it. Okay, that's really good because that will really disorient the person, give you a chance to drive out of there, get out of there. Pepper, gel, or foam. Why do I say pepper, gel, or foam? Because the problem with like a mace or something that is sprayed and stuff like that, depending on wind conditions, it could come right back in on you. And if you're in your car and that comes back in on you, um, it's not going to be good. You're not going to be able to see to drive away from there. Plus, you may miss. They may move a little bit or whatever. They may be able to block it. But if you use a gel or foam, it's going to go on them. They're not going to be able to wipe it off or whatever. It's going to be stuck on there. It's going to be extremely painful, high irritant. Plus, it's not going to come back at you, and you're not going to have a problem. For those of you that are carrying firearms, left-handers, I'm talking to you. I'm a left-hander. There's absolutely no doubt about it. When you get in your vehicle, where is your firearm? Do you carry it on your side, your back, appendix? It has to be in a position that you can use it. Even if it's an appendix carry and you pull, your window's right here. What are you going to do? This? You have to train with pulling your firearm with your right hand and being able to aim and feel confident shooting it with your right hand from a different position. You should also practice in your vehicle pulling your firearm. Okay, that's a must. You need to practice and do that. Practice inside and practice outside the vehicle. Let's see here. Common carjacking ruses, and this is where you're going to get caught because you're not thinking. But I want you to remember these. Okay, getting bumped from behind. Okay, that's a huge one. They bump you and they get out. They go look at the damage. They want you to get out and look at the damage. Don't do it. There is no reason to do it. Stay in the car, and just lower the window a little bit and talk to them if you want to change information. But the best thing to do is if they're feeling that, your car is damaged, call 911 or get out of there, drive to local police department and tell them, hey, I'm going to drive to the police department. I'll meet you there. Don't get out of your car. A staged vehicle accident. And I don't mean them hitting you. I mean two cars staged where they hit each other. They'll have somebody laying down and you being a good Samaritan or whatever, want to rush over there and stop the help. Don't stop the help. Call 911. Call 911 and have them come tell them there's an accident with people on the ground. They'll show up and you might save somebody else from being caught in that too because you're smart enough not to go there. By calling 911, the authorities will show up, and if it's not a real accident, people are going to get arrested. But either way, the scene's going to be cleared and not have to worry about it. A car with flashers on, waving for help. Okay, well, we all want to be, nice to that person. The best thing to do, and I know you see it all the time, you go, how many people drove by this guy? I don't know, you have a phone. Okay, drive up further. You can use hands free. So many cars today, you can just say call 911 or call such and such a police. Do that and tell them that there's somebody stopped on the side of the road at such and such a place with their flashers on, waving for help. Don't you stop, okay, at all to help those people, especially if you're by yourself and you're younger, you're female, even guys. I mean, how many people are at the scene of the accident? If there's just one of you, it's not going to work out well. All right. Getting followed home and getting blocked in your driveway. If you're not paying attention to what you're doing, you're coming home and everything. And How many times have you noticed going, wow, every turn I make, that guy makes? Well, number one, don't go to your house. Keep driving. Keep making weird turns. I mean, strange turns to see if they keep following you. If they do, don't go home. Go straight to the local police department. If you can get their license plate, that's great. That's perfect. Drive to the police station and in their well lit parking lot and go to their door. So what you need to do to prepare for this, find out what doors at your police station are open that you can get inside the building. Every police station has a foyer that you can get in, and there's somebody right there. If not, there's CCTV right there that they'll see you, and if they'll come out and they'll help you right off the bat. The minute you tell them you feel threatened and were followed, they will be there, all right, to help you out. Don't get stuck in your driveway, all right? Sidebar to that, if you are in your house and say your car alarm goes off, or say you have a car alarm that goes to your phone and stuff like that, and you go to the front door and you see somebody out there at your car, be very, very careful with that, because these groups that are stealing cars and stuff like that, it's just not one person stealing it for a joyride or parts. There's multiple people out there. There's videos out there on YouTube in different places showing somebody outside the front door with a rifle to keep you inside that house or shoot at you because they want your car. Don't go out there. Your car alarm goes off. Look through a window, get a vantage point, and you know what? When this video is over, find out different windows in your house where you can look outside and not be seen to see what's going on with your car, especially if you park outside all the time. Don't automatically go out there. See what's going on first, then call 911. All right. Parking lots are always a really good place to get in trouble. What you don't want to do is you don't want to be sitting there just on your phone, not paying attention to everything around you. Okay, that's number one. Put it on speaker. Keep aware of what's going on around you. Another time that in parking lots that you are vulnerable is when you are leaning into your vehicle with packages. All right, be it the back seat, be it the trunk, be it whatever. Well, we'll stick with this. What you want to do is put your packages in your back seat, because the number one place you never want to end up is in your trunk. You never want to be in your vehicle at all. If they want the car, let them take the car. Let them take your packages. Let them take whatever's in there. Let them go. Never get in the car with them, ever, ever, ever. But what you need to know is you need to look in your trunk. All cars have trunk releases, interior trunk releases, okay? Find out where that is. That's why you need to keep your phone on you, so you can use the light on your phone to find the release. The car comes to a stop, open the trunk, get out. All right, that's a must. Do not park in dark areas. Park by the elevators. Okay, when you don't have a long way to walk. Elevator areas are always lit up. There's more people there and everything. People aren't separating, in different directions to their car. Park as close to the elevator in a brightly lit space. And if you can see a call box, park by there. Don't be distracted when you're in the parking lot. Walk with a purpose, okay? Walk from your car to inside the mall or the store, from the mall to the car, always looking around. Have your keys or pepper spray or pepper gel in your hands at all times. Go directly to your car, pay attention to what you're doing, get in the car and leave, all right? Walking back and forth is not the time to be goofing around and not paying attention to what's going on, especially if you're alone, especially at night, but it can happen at any time of the day. Okay, if you do get in a position where you're going to be carjacked, all right, just give them the car. Most of these guys are in it for a joyride. Most of them want to get in it, just go for a drive around for a little bit and everything. They don't want to hurt you. They don't want to do anything to you. The other reason they want the car is they want to take it someplace where they break it up for parts and make a quick buck, and away they go. The last thing on their mind is to hurt you. They have truly no reason to. All right. unless it's a true psycho, and then you do have to worry about psychos. But give them the car, let them go. All right. If there's something in the car that is important, that's something that you don't want, see if you can grab it. Just say, hey, can I have my purse? Can I have this? If they say no, back away and go. If you have kids in the car and you are still in the car, you do not get out of the car until the kids are out of the car. Kids get out of the car first because you're in the driver's seat. They are not going to take your car if you're still in the car in the driver's seat area. If they're older kids, they can get out by themselves. If they're younger kids or babies, you can reach around and from the inside unhook their car seat and help them toward the door, and you get out together. There's no reason for you to get out of the car leaving a child in the car, ever. Absolutely ever. And do not get in the car with the carjacker, ever. You know, the best thing to do is just start running, screaming, yelling, whatever you have to do. Just get away. Never get in the car. Never get in there, because a lot of times the cars that are carjacked will end up at a different crime scene. You could be the next crime scene. Never, ever get in the car with the carjacker. A couple other facts. 52% of all carjacking attempts are successful. All right. 1,800 carjackings were reported in Chicago alone, the most of any city. 350 gig workers were carjacked, with 28 killed and a dozen more severely or permanently injured. All right. So, you know, Uber guys and gals and food delivery, stuff like that, you're taking your life in your hand out there much more than anybody else is. All right. Some final thoughts. If any of the scenarios that we talked about happen or you think are happening, call 911. If it turns out to be an issue, you're better safe than sorry. If you feel threatened, leave the area and call 911 as you're leaving. If you know the area, go right to a police station and report it. Avoid unfamiliar areas and roadways, especially if you're by yourself. Take somebody with you. It's more fun with 2 or 3 people anyhow. You all can go shopping, all go out to dinner or whatever. Stay alert. Be aware of your surroundings at all times. Be very vigilant around parking lots, ATMs, dark streets, or unfamiliar areas. When walking to and from your vehicle, have a weapon or a defensive device in your hand. Trust your spidey sense. Always trust your spidey sense. If it feels wrong, return to where others are and ask for security to help you. Security will walk you to your car. They're more than happy to do that. Watch vehicles behind you. Don't let them follow you home. If you want to carry a non-lethal deterrent, carry pepper gel or foam. Always be aware of your surroundings. Pay attention. Walk with a purpose and confidence. Don't wander, and get into your vehicle ASAP and get home. Follow these rules. You're probably going to be 99.9999% safe and not get carjacked. It always can happen, but with these rules, with these ideas, you're going to be a lot safer than if you never watched this video. Please pass this video on to your kids and all your friends. I thank you for watching, and hopefully you don't end up carjacked or anybody else ends up carjacked. So always be aware of your surroundings. Always have enough food, whether you shelter in place or you bug out, and please prep like your life depends on it, because it really does. Thanks a lot. Take care. Be careful.